What's going on, everybody? I'm joined again by Fernando doing a 2020 NFL mock draft for the first round. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off with Fernando, but we're going to have a little twist to this particular draft. Instead of going 1-1 or saying who we both would pick for the same team, Fernando's going to have pick 1, and I'm going to have pick 2 and 3, and he's going to go 4 and 5, so forth and so on. Kind of like a fantasy football snake draft type of deal.
Yeah.
As you could tell by Fernando's hat, he is a super Dolphins fan, 8-year season ticket holder. And so when Miami's on the clock, even if I were supposed to get the pick, I'm giving it to Fernando, and we'll go from there. So there, at one point, he will have 3 picks in a row, which is fine. It's how we set it up. I'll gladly give him the Dolphins pick. So what say you, Fernando?
Nothing much, man. Excited, man. Glad we got good reaction off our last video last week, and hope we get more people to comment on our mock draft. Let's see where our heads are at.
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody wants to check it out, we did a video regarding the Miami Dolphins free agency and we're kind of previewing what they should do with the 3 draft picks they have in the first round. Just check out the YouTube channel, Untamed Opinion, and subscribe and enjoy. So, Fernando, you got the first pick as the GM of the Cincinnati Bengals. You are now on the clock. Go for it.
All right. It's pretty simple here. Obviously, the best player in the draft is Chase Young. Chase Young should be the first pick of the draft, but the most important position in football is the quarterback. So we're going with who just had the best college football season in the history of college football. The Cincinnati Bengals will select Joe Burrow.
Okay, good pick, good pick. Yeah, Cincinnati could definitely use a quarterback, and maybe he has a bridge from Andy Dalton there. So, pick number 2, Washington Redskins. Washington could go to a lot of directions. I have no doubt they'll field some trade talks about trading back, accumulating more picks. But like Fernando said, Chase Young is the best prospect in the draft by far.
Yeah.
And, you know, as a premium position at defensive end, it's a no-brainer for Washington. They shouldn't even hesitate turning in the card as long as they have the pick. So the second overall pick, the Washington Redskins select Chase Young, defensive end, Ohio State.
Here we go.
And now is when the draft really gets interesting here.
There we go.
Okay. Since we're not going to be doing any trades here in this particular mock draft because there's way too many scenarios here, Detroit will make the selection here. So as the GM, I'm looking at 1 or 2 things. Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, Clemson, the Swiss Army knife, he can do it all type of thing. Lockdown corner potential in Jeff Okudah, a position they need. They traded they got
Darius Slay.
Darius Slay. Sorry, thank you. Darius Slay went out to Philly in free agency, and however, they did sign Tresman Toufant. So they got one side, and they want to get the other side. So which way do they go? It's a toss. You know, it's a 50-50 debate here. You can't go wrong either way with either pick. As a GM of the Detroit Lions, this pick is a little bit more simpler than I'm going to make it. So with the 3rd overall pick, the Detroit Lions select Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, Clemson.
Big pickup, man. That's, like you said, he's the Swiss Army knife, man. Safety, he's played slot corner, defensive end, inside linebacker, outside linebacker. I'm pretty sure Matt Patricia's going to have a lot of fun with him, man. That you can't go wrong with that pick.
That's right. So number 4, New York Giants. Go for it.
All right, so you kind of took my pick there. Definitely, I think the Giants definitely wanted to go Isaiah Simmons there. They're either honestly going to go either Isaiah Simmons or an offensive lineman. I could see them also going – they should be going for best player in the draft. I know that they're openly looking to trade back like we were saying, but in this position, top 5 pick, you got to take the best player in the draft there for them. Their defense was miserable last year. So with the 4th pick, the Giants will select out of Ohio State, Jeff Okudah, corner.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to take the talent, man. This guy can play slot corner. He can play outside corner. Definitely, Jeff Okuda is the pick there for the Giants. I know they need offensive line help. I know they're also looking to trade back, so they might pick up some more picks later on. But you can't pass up on talent, and they proved that they will take the best player to their draft board. Because 2 years ago they took Saquon second pick. Last year they took DJ sixth overall. So I mean they're producing as of now. So we'll see what happens.
All right, so number 5.
Number 5. Hey, if this works out like this on Thursday, man, hey, I'm giving thanks to everybody. Hey, I'm running. I'm not even taking time off the clock. I'm not entertaining any trades. Hey, the Miami Dolphins select our future quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa.
Well, great pick there. Great pick. You definitely went in a different direction there with the New York Giants. I know San Diego or Carolina were kind of hoping Okuda would still be there. However, it's a great pickup by the Giants. So at number 6, we have the San Diego Chargers. They have a quarterback need, but they got Tyrod Taylor there. The GM came out and said that, they're sticking with Tyrod. They said they're going to ride him out and see how he goes. So maybe not necessarily needing a quarterback or wanting to draft a quarterback. They have needs, just like any other team. They have needs all over the field. But what is going to be the most impact need right now? What's going to make the most sense? It could be offensive lineman for sure. However, you have Derwin James in the backfield, and at safety, you have Bosa coming off the edge. And what better way to compete in division with Kansas City and with the upcoming Denver Broncos, because they know they're going to strengthen their offense. They got Melvin Gordon back there now, and Cortland Sutton and whatnot, and whoever they draft this draft here. So with pick number 6, if Jeff Okuda was there, I'm jumping all over Jeff Okuda. But since he's not there, I'm going to go with the number 6 pick, the San Diego. I keep saying San Diego. It's just a habit here. Los Angeles Chargers select defensive tackle Derek Brown out of Auburn.
Great pick. Yeah,
have him on that line with Bosa is going to form a nasty line.
Yeah, they got the guy Tillery from last year. You're talking about Bosa. You're talking about Melvin Gordon. And then you already got Darwin James in the back. I think they picked up Harris from the Broncos to go with their corners. You're talking about that defense is going to be out of control. Now, remember, they've lost Phillip Rivers. He left the free agency. He went to the Colts. I thought you were going to go Herbert there. I'm glad you didn't. But, I'm not a Herbert fan. But, I mean, I already have my quarterback, so I'm happy. That's the biggest fear I have, the Chargers jumping the Dolphins, either to 3 or 4, or another team out of nowhere coming and trying to take my quarterback. But definitely, I approve. Derek Brown has been compared to Suh and Ndamukong Suh. So, that defense will be scary with him on the line.
All right, so now on the clock is the Carolina Panthers, number 7. And there's a lot of directions they can go. Luke Kuechly just retired. They could definitely go linebacker, but with Isaiah Simmons off the board, it might be a little bit too high to drop the linebacker. They can go offensive line. They can go corner. They have needs in a lot of areas across the team here. But I'm looking at it, as a GM, I'm looking at how I can still be competitive and still get the best out of Christian McCaffrey's prime career right now. Okay, you got Teddy Bridgewater in free agency. You got arguably the best, running back, if not the second best running back, right behind you.
Yep.
You have, but who are you throwing to? Who is he throwing to? DJ Moore is there,
and they picked up
Daniel. You have but the receiving core is nothing to be scared about. It really isn't. DJ Moore is a good number 2. But you need someone there to really go number 1 and to develop as a number 1 over the years, because you're going up against New Orleans, you're going up against Atlanta, and you're going up against Tampa Bay there. And what do they all have? They all have 2 receivers who can throw the ball to. Okay, especially Atlanta with Jones and Ridley, and especially Tampa Bay. No doubt New Orleans is going to draft one. All right. So why not go after the best receiver? Why not go after someone who could really transform that offense and keep up scoring-wise with the rest of the NFC South? So with pick number 7, the Carolina Panthers select Gary Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama.
Great pick. Great pick. Yeah. You're giving Teddy some weapons there, huh?
That's right. He's got to have some. Greg Olson's no longer there.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're right. I mean, they got Robbie Anderson. Now you talk about DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, to go there with Christian McCaffrey, who's obviously a weapon in his own. That's a great pick, man. I honestly think that Carolina's praying that they can get an Isaiah Simmons maybe, or a Derek Brown is probably more realistic to fall to them. I know they need defensive line. They need defensive help. They just lost Luke Kuechly. I know they have Shaq Thompson there that can help replace him. But that definitely, you can't go wrong on taking Jared Jeudy. Jared Jeudy, in my opinion, is the number one receiver in this draft. So, absolutely.
All right, so pick number 8, Arizona, is on the board for Fernando. Who you got?
Hey, this is very simple, man. I'm surprised they were able to pick up DeAndre Hopkins without giving up this pick. Can you imagine? Like, that's crazy. So they have their weapons off it. They have the Larry Fitzgerald. They have Christian Kirk. They have now DeAndre Hopkins to give Kyle Murray his weapons on the outside. Now we need to protect our number one pick as an Arizona Cardinal. And you got to go the best offensive lineman on the draft. And in my opinion, there's 4 of them. I don't think any of these guys are going to be elite. I don't think Jonathan Ogden's here. I don't think there's an elite left tackle here. I don't think it's going to be but I think these are plug-in day one of the 2020 season. This is your left tackle for the next couple of years, and you don't have to think about it for the next couple of years. So with this next pick, the Arizona Cardinals will take Jedrick Willis from Alabama.
Good pick. Definitely got to protect the
Jedrick Wills. I apologize. Jedrick Wills. He played right tackle, but don't get confused. Remember, Tua's left-handed, so he was protecting the blind side of the line. So I think he will be a plug-in left tackle for the rest of his career.
You got to protect the quarterback that you got last year. He showed a lot of promise there, and Kyler Murray is gonna do some good things in the league. Just gets a little bit more time, a little bit more protected, and with those weapons, you could definitely do something.
Yes, sir.
So at pick number 9 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's the first of their 2 selections they have in the first round. So number 9, Jacksonville. Who you got?
So here is where I want to switch it up a little bit. I've been going kind of chalk with my picks, but here Jacksonville Jaguars. They have 2 picks in the first round, so they could definitely take a shot. I think there's not too much depth here. I think there's 2 elite players at this position, and he's from Florida. He played at the University of Florida. So over here, the Jacksonville Jaguars will replace Jalen Ramsey with cornerback C.J. Henderson out of the University of Florida.
Good pick. He's the highest rated cornerback in the draft, right behind Jeff Okudah.
Yeah.
Highest one on the board. So that's definitely a good pick here. Number 10, Cleveland Browns. I'm not even waiting to turn it. If I'm Cleveland, hear me out. You turn your card into Goodell and you say, here's my 4 offensive linemen. Whichever the highest rated one is still available, you just select them. We're not even going to turn in the card. This is the card we're going to put it in right now. This is what you're going to do. You're not even going to make a phone call, entertain. You need to protect Baker Mayfield. That guy behind a very bad offensive line. You need to protect Baker Mayfield. So it's an easy slam dunk pick. You could pick any of the top offensive tackles, and you can't go wrong. But what I'm going to do here as the GM of Cleveland Browns, with the 10th overall pick, the Cleveland Browns select Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle, Louisville.
All right. So the diluted sample doesn't scare you off any bit with the combine, huh?
No, I mean, Mekhi Becton could definitely, even if he takes a year to develop, he's a beast. He has a lot of frame to work with, and if he gets a really good offensive lineman,
you can't teach size, man. You can't teach size. No, he's an animal. His highlight reel that you can look up on YouTube. It's almost comical, man. He's throwing defensive ends and linebackers. He's treating them like it looks like the Blind Side movie. with Michael Orr. It's incredible. He's got a lot of talent there, man. I
You
like the
got Nick
pick.
Chubb back there. He makes some more running lanes for Nick Chubb, and you can definitely help out the offense and help out take pressure off of Mayfield.
Yep.
So with pick 11, the New York Jets. Fernando's favorite team here. Fernando's favorite team. All right. So the Jets can go in any direction here, and the Jets can go in a lot of directions here. They need help on offense, on the offensive line, the receiver. They no longer have Robbie Anderson. They can use help off the edge. There's 2 offensive linemen that have already been selected, and they definitely want to be able to pick one up to protect Sam Darnold. So the Jets do not need to overthink this one. I understand if they go receiver. I completely understand that, but that is far more deeper at that position than the good quality offensive linemen that will surely get selected in the first round. There'll be a lot of offensive linemen in this first round. So
I agree.
All right. So with pick number 11, the New York Jets select offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa.
The tackles, man, they're flying off the board, bro. They're flying off the board. Right. It's a great pick, and this is exactly. And you imagine the Giants didn't go offensive tackle at the 4th pick, so we'd be already out of the top 4 guys that are on pretty much everybody's board already. And we're only what? This is pick 12 we're at. So this is exactly why the Dolphins are having these talks about moving up from 18, because they want to get their quarterback, they want to get the best player available, but they also want to get one of these top offensive tackles that could start day 1.
Sure. So now we move on to pick number 12, the LA. Well, it's not even LA Raiders anymore. It's the Las Vegas Raiders.
No longer.
Wow. Las Vegas Raiders. I was recently in February in Vegas, and that stadium is very impressive. Let me tell you something.
I heard
that's looking really good. Yeah, it's looking really good. So at number 12, they have 2 selections in the first round as well, number 12 and number 19. So at number 12, the Las Vegas Raiders. Who you got, Fernando?
So it's Gruden's offense. He traded away a lot of talent to get these draft picks, and I think he's at a point now where he can start putting more talent around. I know him and Derek Carr don't have the best relationship, but I think he still sees that he has talent. They almost made the playoff. They almost snuck in the back door at the end of the season. So here I'm pretty sure he's not going to hesitate and probably take the best player available left on the board. And so the Las Vegas Raiders will be taking Oklahoma wide receiver CeeDee Lamb.
Going for some speed there. I like it. Good pick.
Yeah.
All right. So pick number 13, the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of rumors about that they want to trade back, accumulate more picks and whatnot. I'm sure that's going to happen. But for this mock draft, we're just going to have each team select in their current slot here. So at number 13, the San Fran 49ers, defending NFC champions, have the 13th pick. Who you got, Fernando?
So they're stuck with Garoppolo for now. There are a lot of rumors that they were going to get out of that contract. I know they're most likely going to be looking to replace him at some point here in the draft. I don't think it's going to happen here. I honestly don't believe they're going to be picking here. To be honest, I don't think – I think they'll be trading back. But in sake of the mock draft, we're going to add some more talent to that offense, man. We're going to give Coach Shanahan some more weapons, and we're going to take the fastest player of the combine, Mr. Henry Ruggs. The San Francisco 49ers will take wide receiver Henry Ruggs with this pick.
And they just got Emmanuel Sanders, so a lot of speed on that offense.
Well, Emmanuel Sanders left.
Oh, he left.
He left. He's with the Saints now.
That's right.
So they got Deebo Samuel. You're talking about Henry Ruggs. Deebo Samuel's killing him on the inside, outside, throwing the ball reverses. Now you're adding 4.2 speed to also George Kittle. I read a rumor on Twitter today or yesterday that they're interested in getting Ingram too. So, and this guy was able to take 3 running backs and just put them in there, and they were all able to produce. So definitely, I think here you take Henry Ruggs, who has 4.2 speed, but he can run every route in the route tree, and he has hands. I believe he only dropped one pass during his whole career at Alabama. So I think this is the pick there for them.
Excellent pick, man. So we're going to jump ahead to number 14 here at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the big offseason acquisition of Tom Brady. They already have 2 stud wide receivers. You know, they just need to build up a little bit of offensive line to protect him, because right now Tampa Bay is going all in with Tom Brady. And, you know, the number one priority of Tampa Bay is to protect him, is to give him as much time and to let them run the ball, pass protect, and whatnot. So another no-brainer pick, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 14, select Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle, Georgia.
Absolutely. Great. Hey, this is a no-brainer. Hey, go right to Goodell, call him, Skype him, Zoom him, let him know we need to protect Tom Brady. We want one of those top 4 offensive tackles, and they'll go ahead and they'll run to the podium and get Andrew Thomas.
All right, so now pick number 15, the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, a lot of rumors they want to add a wide receiver to go alongside Cortland Sutton. That would be really good there with Drew Lock. They picked up Melvin Gordon from in the offseason to go along there with Phillip Lindsay in the backfield. Their offense could be dynamic to try to keep up with Kansas City, who's in the same division there. So for me, Denver could definitely go wide receiver, okay? But with the 3 receivers that I really wanted, I've already been taken. I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to go the next best player on my board, and I'm going to show up the defense, again, playing against Kansas City most of the year. So with pick number 15, the Denver Broncos select cornerback Christian Fulton out of LSU.
Okay, all right. Here, I know with the Jacksonville Jaguars taking C.J. Henderson in the top 10, I know people are going to be panicking. I know with the next pick, I know the Falcons, they're rumored to try to move up because they're trying to shore up their defensive secondary as well. So definitely, that's a great pickup there. I definitely agree with and they, like I said, they lost Charles Harris, so definitely they need to find a replacement. Anybody in LSU's defense, you know, they were top in the SEC, so definitely a really good pickup there.
So now Atlanta is on the clock now. The Atlanta Falcons at pick number 16. Fernando, who you got?
So Atlanta, you know, they got a really old offense now. Think about it. They got Gurley now at running back. They went hard on the offensive line last year with those offensive linemen they picked up in the first rounds. Not so sure that's panning out for them too much. I know they were hurt a little bit. But now they got Gurley. They have Ridley. They have Julio Jones. They lost their tight end, Hooper. So we'll see, like offensive. I mean, their biggest struggle, in my opinion, is right now on the defense. And you know, the NFC South got way stronger now with Tom Brady there to add to the weapons that they have there. New Orleans is always going to be New Orleans. You picked up Jerry Jeudy for the Carolina Panthers. So I think they need to shore off their defense a little bit. They need to get pressure on the quarterback. So definitely here with this pick here, I'm going to go with our defensive end product from LSU. So the Atlanta Falcons will select out of LSU, Clavon Chaisson. He's, in my opinion, he's really good. He could rush the passer. He could drop back in coverage. I know Dan Quinn will have a blast coaching this kid. He could do everything. You know, the number 18 is very important in the LSU program, so he is a leader of men. I think you add him there with Deion Jones. I know they're going to get back their strong safety, the kid from Florida who got hurt. I think they need to put pressure on the quarterback, and he could definitely help with that.
Oh, good pickup. They definitely need help on the edge, and getting after the quarterback in that division is a very smart move. So now we jump to who is dubbed America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't think they've been
17. Who you got, Jerry Jones?
I don't think they've been America's team for a while. I'm a big Dallas Cowboys hater as well. But hold on, I got a little helicopter action going on over here. Shout out to North Miami Beach. So I think this is a no-brainer. I think they need help in the defensive secondary. I don't think, I know they have Xavier Woods. They lost Byron Jones to us, the Dolphins. I think they need secondary help. So if the draft were to work this way, I think it's a no-brainer. They got to go get Xavier McKinney. The Dallas Cowboys will select safety out of Alabama, Xavier McKinney. Who, yeah, he doesn't test well in the combine. He's not going to jump out of this world or run a 4.2, but on the field, he's productive. He's productive, and he was playing in one of the most competitive conferences in the SEC and was absolutely productive. So Xavier McKinney would be my pick here for the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, great pickup there. Number 18, your Miami Dolphins select again the second of their three first-round picks. So, who you got, Mr. GM?
So here in this pick, okay, so my thought process is I need offensive linemen. So do I reach? Do I go get Austin Jackson, who I really like from USC? He has a great story if you haven't seen it, where he donated bone marrow to his little sister. He ended up missing most of training camp. He's really great. I love his story. Isaiah Wilson, he played right tackle for Georgia. He's this huge body. Like I said, you can't teach size. He would be great, but I feel like it's a reach here. I still have another pick later in this draft. I can find me an offensive tackle. Here, I want to get me a defensive playmaker. I want to get me someone who, we have spots. We filled in spots for free agency, but I want to get me I got Tua with my first pick to be my playmaker on offense. I want to get me out of the University of LSU. I want to get Grant Delpit here.
Okay, one safety.
Yeah.
All right, definitely a need, especially after letting Minka Fitzpatrick go. And actually, you traded him. You didn't let him go. You traded him, Pittsburgh. This is the Pittsburgh pick, basically, the team that you traded to. So you swapped safety for safety. So
yeah. I think he fits the pro. He could play cover corner. He can play center field. He can come up in the box. He can play the nickel. He can come up and blitz. I really like him, man. And if he's there, I know that he dealt with a lot of injuries last year, but definitely I think he is our pick here.
All right. So next on the clock is the Las Vegas Raiders again at number 19. And so wide receiver was their first pick at number 12. And, they could definitely focus on the offensive side of the ball. Okay. They finally got somebody to hopefully replace Amari Cooper on one side, because Tyrell Williams is a good receiver, just not a number one. He's a good number two, just not a good number one. And they got Josh Jacobs in the back, so the offense looks good. So they need to shore up the defense a bit. And they need linebacker, the one they traded over to Chicago. The big time they traded 2 first round. And they definitely need a corner. They need help on the defense side of the ball. And the cornerback is a deep. It's a deep class this year. You could definitely grab a starter in round 2. The linebackers is a whole different story. It's not a deep class. You got about 4 deep, and that's it. I mean, after that, the next tier is down here. So, without hesitation, the Las Vegas Raiders at number 19 select Kenneth Murray, linebacker, Oklahoma.
That guy is a beast, an animal. I love. I don't know why I ended up watching so much Oklahoma football last year. Maybe it's because we needed to see quarterbacks, and I had to see if Justin Hurts was. But number 9 flies all over the field, and the Big 12, they play that spread offense, so he can run from sideline to sideline. That is a great pickup. Were you even considering Patrick Queen at all from LSU? I don't know.
I did, but I love the speed of Murray. The speed of Murray is what sets him apart.
It's not just the speed. He's got speed and he has size. The guy's 6'2", 241, running around there like a safety. I mean, he's incredible, man. He jumps off the screen. He plays with the cowboy collar. I wish I could make a case to get him for the Dolphins, but we have Raekwon. We have 55. Why am I blanking on 55's name? But we have linebackers, and we have more of a need at safety. So Delpit was my pick. but I promise you, Kenneth Murray, he jumps off the screen when you watch him play defense. That's a great pick.
His speed's going to come in handy when you got tight ends like Travis Kelce and Noah Fant in his own division there. So
Yeah,
it's going to go a
yeah,
long way there.
yeah. Hunter Henry, Kelsey, yeah. There's tight ends all over the place. They're fans. Yeah.
So we're going to jump to the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 20. This is the second of their 2 first-round picks. They picked at number 9, and they picked a cornerback at number 9, and now at number 20 to see what they do. Take it away, Fernando.
This is you. This is you.
Oh, this is me.
Yeah.
You threw me off with the 3 picks. All right, so this is me. All right, so again, number 20, definitely going to focus on the defensive side of the ball. It's an area that we could definitely strengthen a bit. Their front four, they've always been known for their defense. It's how they won back, years ago, and they won the AFC, and they were very competitive. It was because of their defense. Number 20, Jacksonville Jaguars select Patrick Queen, linebacker, LSU.
Okay. We're shoring up the defense here with Jacksonville, huh?
That's right.
That's good. That's a good pickup, man. Yeah, I mean, they lost Smith. I believe Miles Jack also left the team, so definitely they needed to shore up the defense. So they got their starting corner. They got a starting linebacker, Patrick Queen. He's not the biggest guy, but Patrick Queen makes plays, man. He's all over the field there on that LSU defense. That's full of stars. So definitely, I really do like that pick.
All right, so number 21, Philadelphia Eagles.
And I'd like to point out we're 20 picks into this thing, and Herbert has not come up yet. I know that they're talking about trades and stuff, man.
Trades will fix all that.
yeah. Trades will fix it. Quarterback is the most important position, man. But I know if this were to work out this way, I know New England must be smiling. There's going to be some teams there that are going to be like, oh, maybe this is the time to go get it. But Philly, I know Philly is going to want Ruggs. I know we kind of maybe reached for him a little bit. I don't think so. I think he's an incredible talent. But I think Ruggs, if Ruggs were to fall here to Philly, they would love to get him. Obviously, in our mock draft, he didn't. So here, we take the next wide receiver. We got to give Carson Wentz some weapons, man. They dealt with tons of injuries last year. Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffries. I think even Zach Ertz missed a couple of games, but that other tight end ended up blooming off a bit. I know Miles Sanders, he blew up, but they dealt with a whole bunch of injuries. I think Wentz needs weapons, and I think the way to go is to get the next available. And these wide receivers are all pretty close, man. It's kind of like the offensive tackle position where like any one of them can go number 1 or 4. So here we're going to go from LSU wide receiver Justin Jefferson for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Good pickup. Number 22, the Minnesota Vikings. Who you got?
Ooh, okay. So you kind of took my guy there with Fulton for the Vikings. I know they need corner help. They lost the kid from FSU this year. They just gave Cousins an extension. They also need wide receiver help as well with them losing Diggs. So here, you know what we're going to do is we're going to replace Diggs, man. I know they need weapons there for Cousins. I'm not a big Cousins fan. I think he's very comparable to Tannehill. I just think he has a lot of talent around him. So I think to add to this talent, I think we're going to take Mr. T. Higgins from the University of Clemson.
Oh, okay. Going down, you're getting Mr. T. Higgins. I like it. All right, so that puts me up, number T. Higgins. Let me go ahead and select him here for you. All right, so number 23, Fernando's third favorite team, the New England Patriots. No longer have Tom Brady. Of course, quarterback is going to be the number 1 need, the biggest elephant in the room for the New England Patriots. Could they trade up for 1? Absolutely. I wouldn't put it past them. Do they have the ammo to do it? Depends how far these quarterbacks fall. New England Patriots, at this point, they're smiling from ear to ear. Why? Because they're a quarterback that they can groom to possibly be the next potential Brady. Is still there on the board. At number 23, the New England Patriots select Justin Herbert, QB, or.
There it is, man. There it is. The elephant in the room. Where would Justin Herbert fall to? And New England would be great. It'd be great. I look. I don't want to be the Justin Herbert. Hey, he's trash or anything like that. He played in the Pac-12 and then put up enough. He's a good quarterback. He has the weapons. He has a strong arm. He has the size. He's 6'6". He has the speed. He runs a 4.5. It's just it doesn't match. His talents don't match the production that he should have in the college level. So I just don't think he's deserving of a top 5, top 10 pick. But if he were to fall here in the late 20s or in the 20s, hey, go ahead, take a shot, and maybe he pans out, maybe he doesn't. But New England now is going to feel the wrath that the rest of the AFC has been feeling in trying to find our quarterback.
All right, so the next up on the board is the New Orleans Saints. All right, at pick number 24, they can go in different directions: linebacker, corner, receiver, interior offensive lineman. They can definitely go offensive line. 2 more years really of Drew Brees. He's at the tail end of his career. However, bringing in Brady into Tampa Bay, you got Matt Ryan in Atlanta. Now you got Teddy Bridgewater in Carolina. That division is going to be nuts to watch. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be so much fun for the fans to watch. And it's going to be,
Absolutely.
And so at number 24, my same thinking there with Carolina's. We got to be able to keep up and score. New Orleans already has a pretty good defense. Their defense is not the most elite, but they still have a pretty good defense that can hold teams when it needs to, or, they're good enough to hold teams. So at number 24, the New Orleans select wide receiver Denzel Mims out of Baylor.
Ooh. That's
somebody to go opposite.
That's a pickup.
They need somebody to go opposite of Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
To really stretch the field, to get Alvin Kamara up there with that triangle of weapons. It's going to be.
Yeah. I agree. I like the pickup, man. They have a good defense. They have really good running backs with Kamara, and they always pair them up with somebody. Drew Brees. I think Drew Brees has 1 more year. So honestly, if I was in New Orleans' shoe here, I would be if Herbert fell to me, I would probably maybe take Herbert there because he could sit behind Brees. He could learn from Brees and be probably the future replacement. The other person, Jordan Love. I would really consider Jordan Love here because it's just the report of him saying that he already has a deal to go to NBC when he retires is what has me thinking that he has 1 more season in.
I thought about Love, but I'm thinking about win right now. Just like with Brady and Tampa Bay, you got to win right now. You got to try to win right now with Brees.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Giving him a weapon is the best way to go there. So right now at number 25, Minnesota's back on the clock. Fernando's picking again for this Vikings. What you gonna do?
So with the Vikings, we already got them a replacement at wide receiver to try to replace Diggs. Now we need to help this defense, man. And at corner, I'm not 100% sure how many picks the Vikings have, but I know that there's a lot of good corners in the second round. What we want to get here is a pass rusher. There's 2 pass rushers I'm in between. It's it's Yetur Gross-Matos from Penn State, and it's AJ Epenza from Iowa. Now I know AJ Epenza was only like a 1-year starter, but the Iowa guys, they're not athletic, but they just go, they power through, they always hustle. The Matos kid, I can't believe it hasn't been too big of a story, but he has a bullygate kind of story out there where he and a couple of other teammates were bullying a linebacker so bad that he transferred out and he's at USC now. So just for those reasons, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of homework that's been done by all these scouts on the situation. But I'm going to go AJ Epenza here and get some pressure on the quarterback for the Vikings.
All right, that's a good pick. I mean, they definitely need help on the edge. Definitely could use a pass rusher. You can never have enough pass rushers, especially in the
Yeah.
defensive end in this particular draft. The defensive end class isn't really deep like there are other positions. So after the top four, the tier definitely goes down a bit. So it's a great pickup by Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, and it looks like you're back on the clock again for the Miami Dolphins. All right. So you picked up a quarterback, you picked up a safety in Grant Delpit. Who are you going with at number 26?
Oh, okay, so let me tell you a little bit what I'm thinking here, man. I have here Austin Jackson there available for me to take, man. Austin Jackson's there, Isaiah Wilson's there, even Cesar Ruiz, the center from Michigan, is there available. Joshua Jones is still available here for us. So I am loving the spot that I'm in, man. I'm loving it. I can take my pick. I can get my tackle. But how if the draft were to go this way, I mean, and let me tell you, okay, so let me give up my secret here a little bit, is that I also want a running back. And I mentioned this in our last video that I would love a running back, especially in the first round, because if you draft them in the first round, you get the fifth-year option. So you can control a rookie's salary. As bad as it sounds, you can control a rookie's salary at a position like running back, and until you run them to the ground and then go on to either the next running back. Running back is such a replaceable position. It's not. Look at the Los Angeles Rams. They paid Todd Gurley all this money, and then 2 years later they just cut him for nothing. They got nothing back in return. They just cut him. So I think running back is a position where you cannot spend money. You find a position in the draft. They're replaceable. You can find them later in the draft. Like I said, Cam Akers is going to be available later in the draft. The kid from LSU, number 22, is going to be available. DJ Dallas we can get. Zach Moss from Utah will be available later in the draft. But for the purpose of our draft here, and because I'm pretty sure some kind of running back's going to go early in this draft, I will take out of the University of Georgia, Mr. Swift.
DeAndre Swift. Whoa, that is a lot of mock drafts actually have him going to Miami at number 26. That's definitely not a surprise there, but it is a good value pick, like you said, with the fifth-year option. Running back, is definitely a need. So that's a great pickup. It's a solid pickup. And with more with more draft assets behind you, you could definitely make that pick now.
Yeah.
So number 27, the Seattle Seahawks. All right. Who does the 12th man want in Seattle? They could definitely use interior linemen. They could definitely use offensive tackle, wide receiver. Definitely need to get some help there for Russell.
They're in between bringing back Clowney. Remember that?
Right, that is correct. So if they want to get Clowney, they can still stay with Clowney. Clowney's still unsigned for some reason, but maybe it's because of money. But right now, you need to get Russell Wilson help in the trenches. You need to go offensive line in this. So with the 27th overall pick, the Seattle Seahawks select offensive tackle Josh Jones out of Houston.
Great pickup. Okay. Yeah, you gotta protect your moneymaker, man, and that's definitely Russell Wilson there. So that's a great pickup there.
That is correct. Now, number 28, the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, they got their quarterback at number 31 last year, was it?
Yeah. Well, 2 years ago with Lamar.
With Lamar Jackson 2 years ago. That's right, because he sat behind. That's right. So they got their quarterback, and, he had a heck of a season last year. I mean, 6 touchdowns against the Dolphins, right? Or something like that.
I mean, yeah, that was a tough game to be at, man.
So basically what the Baltimore Ravens need to do is they definitely got a lot of defense in the offseason. So now you could try to open up more holes for the running backs. You could definitely get a little bit more protection there for Lamar Jackson to run, to give time to throw in the pocket. So here, I'm going interior offensive lineman. I'm going to grab the first interior offensive lineman on the board. I'm going with guard/center. He could play either one. Cesar Ruiz out of Michigan.
Nice. That is a great pickup, man. He's a people mover, man. I like him, though. Like, and especially for that offense that they're run heavy and they need to protect Lamar Jackson from taking unnecessary hits. That's a great pickup there. I agree.
Thank you. So you're going to go to number 29, which is the Tennessee Titans. Who you got?
Okay, so yeah, with the Tennessee Titans, this is pretty much for me, it's a no-brainer for them. They lost their right tackle, Conklin, free agency. I mean, he didn't deserve to get paid big money, in my opinion, anyway. So definitely, if the draft works out like this, you took. I was going to be in between Ruiz and this player, so I'm definitely going to go with out of Southern California, offensive tackle Austin Jackson here for the Tennessee Titans. Quick plug and play. He'll be there to protect Tannehill. He'll be there to make some holes for Derrick Henry and add to that offense that they have. They have a good thing building there in Tennessee. I like what they're doing.
No, definitely. They got the wide receiver, the running back there, and Derrick Henry. Make some more holes from. Protect Tannehill. You just paid him a whole bunch of money. Why not try to protect him, get him the lanes to throw to, and the running lanes for Derrick Henry. Very smart pickup. Very smart. So at number 30, you got the Green Bay Packers. Who you got?
So with Green Bay came out the gates strong. They kind of cooled down towards the end. I would love to get him. I would love to get. I know they got bit by the injury bug really bad. I know Devontae Adams got hurt, but this new coach that they have there built finally a running game. That defense. They built their defense through the draft, and then they picked up a couple free agents that just came in there and contributed well. They have a really good overall team, and I think as long as Rodgers is able to produce for them, he's never going to be out of the top 10, even in his old age. He has the smarts, he has the arm talent that he will continue to be productive. And I don't believe that they don't have too many needs. They can really go for the best player available to them here in this pick. So I'm honestly in between them getting a pass rusher, but I'm gonna go a little bit off the books. I'm gonna go Jordan Love here. I'm gonna get Aaron Rodgers' replacement here in the first round and let him get taught by the best. Aaron Rodgers might be, he benefited 3 years behind Favre, and obviously they didn't have the best relationship, but he had to pick up something from him. And I think this can work out the same way with Jordan Love. Sit. He's coming from a weak conference in the Mountain West. He can definitely learn from the best, which is Aaron Rodgers. And he could sit there not just 1 year. He could sit there 2 years. And, when it comes time to it, he can come in there and they can go from Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's quite the pick there. I can't argue with that logic. I mean, Rodgers sat behind Favre for 3 years, so look how that turned out. So Love could go the same way if he develops. So, why not?
Yeah.
Wow. So we're going to move on to pick number 31, the San Francisco 49ers. This is the second first-round pick they have. After this, they don't pick till round 5. So you got to imagine they're going to be trading back, which is no surprise. They want to trade back, accumulate a second, a third, a fourth, some combination of between to pick up an extra 2-3 picks between 2 and 5. But for the sake of this mock draft, we're going to go ahead and pick them a player at number 31. With the 13th pick, a wide receiver was already picked up, so they replaced Emmanuel Sanders in a sense with that one. Here they need somebody else to go across from Sherman and to take his place because he's at the tail end of his career. So with that being said, the San Francisco 49ers select cornerback Jeff Gladney, TCU.
Good pick. Yeah, I definitely agree with your reasoning there. They need to get, and I know they're most likely not going to pick here. You're absolutely right. They're going to trade back. They put out a record today that they're trying to trade everybody. Marquise Goodwin, they're trying to get draft picks. They're trying to build off this championship. They don't want to. They have a good GM. They have a good head coach, and they have some players there, man. They can make this last, but they definitely want to build in this draft. And this draft is so deep that you can build with later picks in this draft. It's not a good year to not have picks in this draft.
All right, so with the last pick, the defending champions, the Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs at number 32, can go to a lot of different directions. I know a lot of mock drafts have a running back selected for them, or it could be DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor. You know, they can go cornerback. They really like Jeff Gladney, but, you know, they got picked up ahead in San Fran. So they're going to go in a different direction because Kansas City cannot believe this player is still on the board. And they're going to run to they're going to run to their telephone. They're going to pick up the telephone. They're going to say, Roger Goodell, at number 32, the Kansas City Chiefs select defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina.
Ooh, he dropped.
He dropped. Let me tell you something.
He sure did.
He sure did. He dropped, and he got overlooked. There's always that player that somehow drops, somehow makes into the second round, and Kansas City wasn't going to play that. They can get a running back at the tail end of the second round, whether it's Cam Akers, one of the other ones, you know, and he has time to develop because in that offensive juggernaut, you know, you have the luxury of getting that in the second round. They need help on defense. They need to be able to show up a defense and be able to get Pat Mahomes the ball a little bit more. Javon Kinlaw is a beast.
And their defensive tackle now, who's all-pro Chris Jones, who's amazing, incredible. Chris Jones batted down one of the balls in the Super Bowl to extend the game and for them to come back. Yeah, Chris Jones is amazing, but putting Kinlaw there with him, that'll be an incredible pairing, and that will shore up their defensive line. I was sure you were going to go. You were going to go with Jonathan Taylor.
I thought about it. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, but
it does.
Again,
it does.
I could either trade up again in the second round for him. I could wait for one of the running backs that are still on my board, you know, into the end of the second round. And Javon Kinlaw still sitting at number 32. We're all looking at each other like, how is this still possible? Well, now he's a Kansas City Chief, and he's going to turn that defense up to the next level.
Yeah, man. And then look at all the talent that's left, man. You have a Cushenberry from LSU is still available. Ezra Cleveland still available. You have Hunt, Isaiah Wilson still available. I mean, you have plenty of talent in the second round. The Dolphins have two picks in the second round. We can get it. Like I said, you can't go wrong. I mean, this draft is incredibly deep, and we can definitely get a productive player even in the later rounds, 4th, 5th round, 4th, 6th, 7th round. You can get starters here, man.
Right. So that's going to conclude our 2020 mock draft here on Untamed Opinion. I appreciate Fernando for joining me for this, and this video will be out very soon. So let us know what you think. Share it, subscribe. Let's have fun come this Thursday. The NFL draft is Thursday at 8 o'clock with Cincinnati on the clock for real. Not a mock draft, but for real. And, you know, it's going to be fun. You know, this is one of my favorite times of the year. You know, I love the NFL draft more than any other draft, any other sport. It's the one I follow.
Especially this year, man. We need it this year.
I'm a mock draft junkie. You know, I love looking at. I look at it from like the past September. I start looking at it. I'm already looking at 2021. I'm like, I like looking at it. I love it.
Trevor Lawrence wait for you already? Trevor Lawrence already there? All right, so, I appreciate it, man. Much love, bro. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll do this again soon with another sports topic of some kind, and we look forward to doing it again.
Let's do it, man.
All right.